The Non-Identity Podcast is sponsored by Limited Power Boxing. Find them on Instagram for all your boxing needs. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time you're watching or listening to this. And welcome to the very first episode of the Non-Identity Podcast. It's Mr. Matt Power. Nice to meet you, Matt.
Hello, how are we doing?
Welcome to the show.
Thank you very much.
Before we start, I want to say thank you very much for being our proud sponsors.
My favourite.
You've had a career in boxing, both training, pro, not pro, training pros.
Yeah.
So obviously you've been around a lot of media attention and that, but you've never really given interviews. So why have you decided now's the time?
I'm just ready. I'm ready to share my story with the right people like yourself. I the main reason is I didn't want to tell my story, and the certain people that wanted to do this probably took the mic on. You know what I mean? So I feel comfortable around yourself. So I'm ready to share my story now.
Okay, so let's start at the beginning, childhood. Where was you born and what was childhood like?
I was born in West Hill in Dartford. Lived in Erith, Slay Green all my life. Childhood, I had a good childhood. At the age of 6, my mum realised that I wasn't doing things right. Like as any normal, whatever normal is, but whatever normal person
what society
would
classes
do.
normal.
like cutting my food, doing my shoelaces, like things like that. So we went and got tested. At 6 years old, I was diagnosed with a syndrome called dyspraxia. Now, dyspraxia is a neurological problem. Back in the old days, they used to call it clumsy syndrome.
Yeah.
You've probably seen me trip myself up a few times today.
But I too suffer with dyspraxia. I got diagnosed at 16, so I was the lazy person at school.
Yes, that's what it is. That and clumsy.
Falling up curbs, falling upstairs, not down.
No accidents I've had, mate. So I've always found my childhood difficult. I had a lot of support from my mum. She is an absolute angel. Also, not so much support from other family members. Which that's down to their discretion. That's fine.
Do you think it's been like that because they didn't understand, or do you just think they haven't wanted to give the time to try and understand?
Maybe they was like in denial about myself having these problems, which obviously made things quite difficult, and even down to this very day. I didn't have a lot of support from certain family members. My sister is amazing. My cousin Leanne, cousin Joey, my friends, they are all amazing. Yeah, so that's from my childhood up to now, really.
So, moving on, got into fighting. Was it UFC, MMA first?
MMA. I started in MMA. Yeah.
Why? Why did you choose to fight?
So we had a family problem. And I was playing rugby before, and I couldn't express how I felt. So I went to a club, Nemesis Gym, and a guy, still a very good friend of mine now. I talk to him every day, called Scott Stribling. Now this man is like my brother. He's absolutely amazing. He introduced me into mixed martial arts. So obviously with the dyspraxia, it took me a little bit more time to get where I wanted to be. It took me 3 years of training, and I just refused to give up. I wanted to get there, and there's a funny story with it. So have you heard of UCMMA at the Truxie?
Yeah.
So me and my friend, we went and watched it, and I said to him one day, I'm going to fight on this show. And he went, yeah, all right, man. I went, watch. So a few years come down the line, and I got the nod to go on that show. Beat the guy in 3 rounds. And it was quite inspirational for me, and it was quite emotional for me that there was my first insight of mixed martial arts. And that's where I wanted to be, and I finally got there.
So, when you're fighting, how do you find the aggression? Because we spent a couple of hours together this morning. and you don't seem an aggressive type of person. But to have an MMA career and 65 boxing fights and stuff, where does that come from? Do you feel?
It's back then when I first started, I used to use that aggression in the fights. That was the way I could express myself and my pain and my frustration. So it was sort of like a channel. I knew that outside, that's not me.
Yeah.
That's not me. I'd rather come up to you and buy you a pint. Do you know what I mean? Like, but that was where my base was of expressing how I felt. But as the years went on, it was just normal. I just felt like, it's just another day. It learned a lot of control from me. Like, I learned how to control my anger and my pain and my frustration.
So is your aggression like a switch now? You can just turn it on and off as you need to.
That's it. That's exactly that. Like it's a switch. As soon as I'm in that changing room and my hands are getting wrapped, that's where my aggression levels start raising. That's
you like every wrap of the bandage.
It's not even that. I'm just when I'm getting my hands wrapped and it's here like that. I'm just like, I'm gonna do you. Like I'm gonna hurt someone. Like, but then as soon as that fight finishes and before, like weeks before the fight, I sort of I'm chilled. I'm relaxed. I'm normal. Do get a little bit nervous. Nerves are normal in the if you're not nervous, there's something wrong with you.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? At the end of the day, you're in there with someone, and he's going to hurt you, or you're going to hurt him. That's the way it works.
So you've done a little bit in mixed martial arts, and then transitioned over to boxing. Why?
So I went to Muay Thai first.
Muay Thai before.
Yeah, I went
What's
to
Muay Thai?
Muay Thai is a form of kickboxing. Right. Is based in Thailand. You're allowed to use your feet, your hands, your elbows, and your knees. So I went on to that. I didn't get to the level of throwing elbows, so they called it A class. I got to about a B class, which is still quite good. So yeah, I never really got to A class. I did learn the elbows, things like that, but that was a very humbling and spiritual martial art to have. Again, it was that switch. You learned how to turn it on and off again.
So then after that, you transitioned to boxing.
Then I went into boxing. Yeah.
So why boxing?
Why boxing? I really don't know. I used to watch it anyway. Went on and I got offered a fight. I got offered a boxing fight, a white collar fight. And I was like, yeah, I'll have a bit of that. So I boxed. Unfortunately, I lost. But I loved it. I absolutely adored it, and I've never looked back since. It's been amazing.
So you said, like, obviously with the martial arts and stuff, it's a lot of control and discipline.
Yeah.
How have you managed to transform that into your personal life, or is you controlled in the ring, but is your personal life a whirlwind? Or
no? So I live quite a quiet lifestyle. You don't see me out in the clubs. Yeah, I really can't explain it. As soon as I'm there and at the event, that's when I call it the alter ego.
Yeah.
Yeah. So with the alter ego, I like here now we're talking, we're having a good time. But as soon as I'm at the venue, I don't talk. I'm quiet. I'm moody. There is a little story to that. So my mum, like I said earlier, she is my rock. She come on her own once. A certain member of my family would never come. So she come on her own, and I went, Mum, listen, it's a box, it's a fighting environment. I don't want you out in the stands on your own. I went, come in the changing room with me. All right, so she went, yeah, no problem, fine. So sit in the changing room, and I'm wrapped up, I'm pacing, I'm like a caged lion now. And she kept going, Matt, are you all right? Like, yes, Mum, I'm fine. Now I carried on pacing, warming up. Matt, are you all right? And I was snapped. I snapped. Do you really think I'm all right? Don't remember a thing. Don't remember a thing. But I only got told what I said. Like my friend was there as well, and she went, "I ain't talking to you for a week. You're so harsh." Like, but she understood it. She understood why it was like that because I'm so friendly and gentle outside that I've got to get that from somewhere to get in the ring. Yeah.
So, obviously, as fight fans, we just watch boxing, watch two people go out. How dangerous is the sport?
What I call it, no matter what level, boxing is not a sport. I believe it's a business. Um, like I said earlier, he's in there to hurt you, or you're in there to hurt him. Now, in late 2016, I took a boxing fight, um, and I got hit on the right side of my face. Here, was out, snoring. It never feels good that. And a few weeks later, I went back into training, and I got pain in my arm. It was a horrible pain in my arm, and then in my face. Um, and then I went totally blind. Um, and I showed you where it was earlier, where it happened. And I'm quite well known in the Slade Green area. So someone went to me, still don't know who it is today. Matt, are you all right? I was like, no, take me home. And as I went home through the front door, I collapsed. So I was in hospital for 3 weeks. I had a bleed on the brain. Um, they said I'll never fight again. Then that led to like depression. And again, where all my life, all I've done is get where I want to be. Keep fighting, keep fighting. Um, I took no for an answer. I didn't. I wouldn't have it. I wouldn't have it. Well, no, I'm capable. And it took me another 3 years to get where I wanted to be. And I had my last fight in November.
When you say depression, though, is it like, because a lot of mental health's thrown about a lot now, so people just say, yeah, I'm feeling a bit down today, so I'm a bit depressed.
Yeah.
Or did you go into a really dark place?
Really, very dark place. Suicidal.
Yeah.
It was one night I tried. I did attempt, and then it was like a week later. I went and received help from Mind in Bexley, which are absolutely amazing. One I had. And they got me to a certain, because it's nothing is given to you. You've got to work for it.
Yeah.
And they give me the tools to work with, and that was where I got back to Matt again, and got that inner strength to go. No, I'm going to have one more fight, and I'm going to win. And I did. I beat him in 3 rounds. Good guy, nice guy. Had a good scrap, and we went had a pint after. Yeah.
And when you won, how did it make you feel?
I was very emotional.
Because obviously
the journey was mad. I didn't believe until I set foot in that ring that day that I'm going to do it. I'm going to win. And yeah, that as soon as my hand was raised, it was absolutely
amazing. And what was the motive? Obviously, like, it's just a fight, really. So, what was the motivation from you being at your lowest and low over the 3 years to tell you yourself that you was going to win? What was it about a boxing fight that kept you going?
I love my boxing.
Yeah,
I love boxing. I've kept my circle very tight. Got great friends around me, and they help me not only in boxing, but in life. There's a lady standing behind the camera now. She was an absolute rock. Yeah, she was amazing. I remember one day I was absolutely on my bum, and she took me to Herne Bay for the day just to get me out of the way. Never forget that. That goes a long way. The thing is with boxing, people take.
Yeah.
people take advantage of you. Like you say, I'm a nice gentle guy. Our bold man's I'm too nice, and people seem to think that kindness is a weakness, and it's happened to me quite a few times.
So obviously you got through that.
Yeah.
Carried on boxing a bit, but you also moved over into the personal training side of things.
Yes.
What's the different buzz from actually being a fighter to actually training someone through a fight?
To not let them have what I had with that bleed on the brain.
Right, okay. So
That was probably the worst time of my life.
Yeah.
I'm brutally honest. If I don't think you should fight, I will tell you. But my biggest motivation for that is I would never let any of my people that want to box go through what I went through that's 5-6 weeks. So that's a big chunk of my story. So I went on to coaching. Still doing bits now. I'm quite fortunate to have people like Champs Boxing supporting me as well in this. I've been working in gyms. I've had my own gym. Went in with someone, like I said earlier. People are happy to take. They don't give.
Can you give us an example of something? I know there's probably been many.
Yeah. So there was one gym I was working at. I got promised a certain amount of money to be in there a long time, like every day, 9 a.m. till 9 at night. That time come of payday. Sorry, Matty, I ain't got the money right now. I'll pay you next month. No problem, that's fine. Like I say, I'm being kind. This is my project too. Next month come. Sorry, Matt, I ain't got the money. Can I pay you £14,000 later? And I still haven't been paid today.
Is there nothing like? Was it just verbal agreement? So
it was a verbal agreement. There was no contract. That's my fault.
Yeah.
I should have pushed.
It's a big business lesson, guys. Always make sure there's a contract.
Remember, everything's in writing, guys.
Yeah, you got a leg to stand on.
Yeah. So that took my kindness for a weakness.
Do you think stuff like that, just because you hear lots of stories like that in the boxing world, do you think it is just like a very dog eat dog, and as you said earlier, people grabbing?
It's a very cutthroat game.
Because you don't think of it at a lower level. You obviously hear about it at a professional level, but the
it
fact
happens
that
all over. It happens all over. Like,
why do you think that is?
There is no loyalty. Everyone's out for themselves. To an extent, I don't blame them. So they've got to look after themselves, especially in the game. Like I said earlier, boxing is not a sport; it's a business.
Yeah.
So everyone's looking after themselves. So if they don't feel like they're getting the best, they're going to move elsewhere. And if same thing as coaches, if you're not getting what you deserve, then you're going to go.
Yeah.
Sort of like a job. It is a job.
Yeah, like you said, it's a business.
And being a trainer, being a boxing coach, you ain't only coaching. You're a social worker. You're a counsellor. You're a figure to them. A lot of the people, like 18-year-olds, be like, Matt, you're like a father figure to me. Now that's a big thing. That's a big step. Now if I let someone like what happened to me happen, what am I leading on to these people?
Yeah.
Like, what am I setting them? Yeah, it's all right to take it. It's not right to take it. It's unacceptable. Like, all I ever want in life is to see people succeed. I do not ever want to see people be like failing what they dream to be.
So I can sort of testify to that. So about 4 years ago, this is how me and Matt met. I did an ultra white collar boxing event, and I was struggling the first couple of weeks, and then you come into the gym, and I remember we was doing sparring, and the other guys were pushing us to our limits, and I was completely knackered. You just sat me down in the corner and said, "You go at your own pace. When you're ready to get in and spar, you spar. When you've had enough, you've had enough. It's okay." And just hear someone to say it's okay, like, cause I felt up until that point I weren't good enough. So there's lots of times I wanted to pull out because it was an 8-week intense sessions. It was literally like a boot camp. All the other trainers were telling us how bad we were. we weren't cut out for it. It's like they wanted us to pull out. And then at the end of the session, it was such a head game, really, because at the end of the session, they told us how fantastic we did and we're really progressing. But for the hour, they just like beasted us and was like, you're no good for this, you might as well go home now, you might as well quit. And it was just so confusing mentally, like, but then to have someone during that hour like you, when you come and sat there and said that to me, it just made me feel like, okay, I can actually carry on with this. So
Well, the way I work is I won't scream in your face. Yeah, you're the person that is in there, that is doing it, and like you say, you're doing a charity fight. You're in the ring getting it. You're in the ring to do it. I can get you ready to an extent. Yeah, fitness, but your mind game is your own.
Yeah.
And to be honest, you that night you astonished everyone.
Yeah, even myself.
Like I knew how it feels to be the underdog. I've been the underdog all my life.
Yeah.
And to succeed and win, just stepping in that ring for you and myself is a massive achievement.
Yeah.
So I'll always have nothing but respect for you that night. You turned my head straight away. So yeah, you done very well that night.
I don't know if you know, I don't know if I've told many people, but I nearly had to pull out because on the Thursday before the Sunday, we had to move our training session. So they put us in the semi-pro group. And the trainer made us do a press-up with the gloves on. And obviously you can see how big I am. So as I went down, my shoulder just went, like something pulled in it. And this is like 3 days before the fight. I woke up on the Friday, I couldn't even lift my arm. And I was thinking, there's no way I can do this fight. But I thought I've sold all the tickets, I've got people coming, I've been advertising it everywhere. So I had to wake up on a Sunday morning, I had to pop a load of ibuprofen just to be able to move my arm. But I was so
We've all been there. We've all been there.
I was so gutted as well. But even before that, I don't think people realise the actual mental battle you go through with yourself when you're boxing. The fight's not really with the opponent, the fight's with yourself. That's how I took the 8 weeks.
Boxing is 80% in the brain.
Yeah, because the actual fight itself felt easy compared to the training and all the. I'm not saying any fight's easy.
The way I tell people, I don't care about the outcome.
Yeah.
As long as you're safe, that's fine. But as long as your main biggest fight is in the gym. Yeah. The fight itself is a pat on the back for what you've gone through.
And it's true, people, you put the work in, you get good results. If you don't, you're going to get bullied, basically.
I've been there. I've been there where I've thought I'd go and have a beer during fight camp. Not a good move. Not a good move.
So, as you said, you got into coaching. Mm-hmm. You do a little bit now, as you said. Is that going to go on for a long time, or?
I hope so.
Yeah.
I hope so. Going through a little bit of things personally at the moment, medically. We're just playing it by ear. We're playing, like I say, I've got a good group of people around me that are very supportive, and if I feel like I can do it, and I talk to these group of people, and they think that I can do it, then I'll carry on. But if not, and I feel like I can't, I'd rather give you my 100% than 50.
Yeah.
So I would, if I think it's time to stop, then I'll stop.
So, you've been to lots of boxing events and stuff like that. Can you tell us about any crazy nights, either in the ring and outside of the ring?
Lee, you've put me on the spot here, mate. So, this is coming. It's going to start personal,
okay,
and then it's going to go further on.
Okay,
right. So, in 2018, my nan was passing away, and me, my cousin Archie, we were sitting around her bed as her 2 grandsons holding her hand, and he went to me, Matty, what do you want to do? Now Archie Sharp is ranked number 1 with the WBO. So he's a professional. He's a global WBO global champion. And I went, one day I would love to corner at the O2. He went, well, you're in my team. It wasn't at the O2, it was at Royal Albert Hall. But it was absolutely amazing. So he fought Declan Geraghty. And he knocked Declan Geraghty out in the 8th. I went absolutely mad. I lost all control of emotion. Mr. Warren was looking at me like, "What the hell are you doing?" And that was probably the highlight of my boxing career, is being in Archie Sharp's corner.
And what's it like? So obviously you said Frank Warren was there, so there was a Queensberry show.
Yeah.
What's it like working with a global promotion that is famous for boxing? Like in England, you've got your Matchroom and you've got your Queensberry.
Yeah.
So is it it's obviously different to like working at the York Hall or something like that, or is it?
It depends. It depends. Everyone has their favourite venues. My favourite one personally is split between two. That's the York Hall or the Indigo at the O2. They are pretty cool. They're pretty cool. If anyone's been to the York Hall, it's pretty close up.
Yeah.
You can get into it. You can see everything. My last fight was at the York Hall. Absolutely amazing. But yeah, that's one of them two are my favourite. Yeah.
But so working, as I said, with a global promotion, is there anything like, are the rules different? Is there things you can say, can't say? Do you have to be sort of on best behaviour because there's lots of cameras about?
Yeah, like that's the biggest thing is your behaviour. Obviously, it's professional level.
Yeah.
You got to behave like a professional at the end of the day. That was the biggest thing. Apart from that, I didn't really see anything else different. Run a lot better than the white collar shows, but yeah, it was an unreal experience. Even training and being around Archie while he's training was a great experience for me. His trainer back then, Richie Sawyer, I learned so much off that man, and I cannot ever thank him enough for showing me like certain things. I've picked different things up off different coaches I've been around, but that was the most. Richie showed me the most, especially with the pad work. He's exceptional on the pads. That's where I learned a lot of my craft.
And what's a changing room like for a world title fighter? What's
the global? I wasn't with him in the global. I was with him with the WBO European.
Yeah.
He had his own changing room. Yeah. So that was pretty unreal.
And what's it like? Are you listening to music?
Yeah,
Chatting?
he was listening to music. I sort of let him get on with it. Like, I was there if he wanted me. Yeah, I've got one story about that. So Richie as well, his old trainer, he went, "Matt, can you get some ice to get in the corner bucket?" I went, "Yeah, sure, no worries." So our change room was next door to Nicola Adams. So I walked out with this little corner bucket. I walked out and Nicola come out at the same time. I went, "Hello," and she was absolutely lovely. She was like, "Hello, you're right." Like
you got the ice, please?
Yeah, you got any ice? Yeah. No, she she was lovely. She was really informative.
So you said you wanted to do this interview as well to get inspire some people.
Yeah.
So what message do you want to get out to people?
The sky is the limit. It don't matter what is thrown your way. You can do it if you put your mind to it. Do not ever give up. No matter what anyone tells you. No matter how you feel. If you want it that bad, you are capable of doing it. Just go and chase it. Just go and chase your dream. Don't give up. Don't give up. Like, it don't matter what tribulations, what trials and challenges, because you are going to get them. You go and get them challenges and you smash through them.
Definitely.
And it might take you time. It might take you longer. It might take you longer to get where you want to be, but you will get there if you put the work in and put your mind to it.
Last question.
Go on.
And this is a question I will be asking everyone. So whatever answer you give will not change whatever's happened in your life journey. But if you had 30 seconds with your younger self, what would you say?
That's a tough one. I would say keep pushing. And well done, because I never really got that as a child.
Yeah. Do you think you push to win your fights and all that because you want that well done off of someone?
Of course. Of course, even today. So today with this podcast was a big step for me.
Yeah.
Because I kept things away from the boxing world, and because I didn't want anyone knowing.
Yeah.
But now I'm slowly beginning to relax a little bit now, due to this medical reason. I feel it's right to release my story. So I told this person today, I'm going to go and do this podcast today. All right, bye. Not well done, Matt. It's big. It's big. What you're proud of what you're doing. Like it's like, all right, bye.
You know, that must be hard if you're striving to get that well done.
But I'm used to it. I guess I know no different.
But like you said, you've got such a good group of people around you.
Listen,
you should be listening to their voices, not the one that doesn't.
I do want to list them off now.
Yeah.
Just to say a massive thank you while we're live. And
yeah.
So, Mum, thank you very much. You know you're always there. She's a good old bird. My sister Amy, her husband Mike, they're rocks. My cousin Joey, Leanne, Kia, Megan, Jamie, Haley, Frankie. He's always supportive. He's always ringing me and me ringing him, and we're abusing each other. Shawnee, Jordan, Scott Striblin, massive thank you. Without you, I would not be where I am today. Nothing but love for you. My late nan, my rock, my granddad, my other rock, Archie. Learnt stuff off Ted Cheeseman. Thank you, Ted. Anyone who has helped me in the boxing world and has been positive help, I cannot ever thank you enough. So thank you very much.
Well, Matt, I want to say well done and thank you.
Thank you very much.
So thanks for joining us. Hope you can join us again soon.
Yes, we will. We'll have a catch up.
Yeah.
We'll have a catch up.
Thanks everyone for tuning in. See you again next time.